All right, folks, Steve Malzberg here, and I am joined right now by Tom DeLay, former House Majority Leader, of course, former Republican Congressman from the great state of Texas, and he is also the author of a great book, Revival, Revolution, Rebirth, a radical call from the former Majority Leader of the United States House of Representatives. Congressman, great to see you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
All right,
great to talk to you.
Well, you too. Let's get the obligatory stuff out of the way. Donald Trump tweeting out today about Joe Scarborough and Mika. And I got to tell you, I don't do it now, but for months until recently, I would watch that in the morning. And they questioned his whether or not he has dementia, questioned his mental stability and faculties, called him a Stalinist, implied that he's going to, take over, or wants to take over, just like dictators and authoritative figures of the recent past. So that's the game they play every single day. When Donald Trump tweets out what he tweets out about Joe and Mika came to see me 3 times down at Mar-a-Lago, she had a facelift and she was bleeding. What do you say?
I love it. I got to tell you, I just love it. You know, my entire career, I fought with the press and never had the stature of a president to be able to do something about it. And all the pundits and the experts and communications directors, they just hate that you go after the press. They don't want you to do it, and they're constantly trying to stop you from doing it. And I'm sure they're trying to do that with Trump. But I am so glad that he's going after the media and going after them in a personal way, because they're going after him in a personal way. And I think he's making an impact. I would just advise him to put together an organization like Media Matters so that people can go after him 24/7.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? And of course, there's been a lot going on. Well, it's interesting because I tweeted out, earlier today that he's a fighter. And even Melania, came to his defense saying, you hit him, he's going to hit back. And that's what a lot of people, like me and you, I assume, love about him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is a fighter, and he's not going to be bullied. And the press is, particularly Mika and Joe, they are notorious about bullying people. And that's how they get what small ratings they have. So going after them is perfect. I think he needs to do more of it.
All right, let's move on. Here's a story that you walk up to someone in the street and they never would have heard of it probably, because nobody seems to care, because, Donald Trump got up on the wrong side of the bed or washed his face before he brushed his teeth, and he should be impeached for it. But Bernie Sanders and his wife are under FBI investigation, reportedly. They both reportedly hired criminal attorneys. And this is over a bank loan that Bernie's wife, when she was president of a university, Burlington College, tried to get a $10 million loan. Reportedly, she's under investigation for pumping up the credentials of the college in order to get the loan. And we have a bank executive reportedly saying that Sanders' office pressured the bank to give the loan. But don't tell the news media, don't tell anybody, because nobody cares.
Exactly. The news media, particularly the left in the news media, are losing so much trust and so much credibility with the American people. And they're getting what they deserve. They think they're powerful. They think they can manipulate the mind and the mindset of the American people. But American people are seeing right through this. And the more it goes on, the more they're going to suffer. So I kind of see this as a shake-up and a shake-out of the press that have been able to bamboozle the American people for so long. Now they can't do it.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens, and let's see when they start telling us all about Bernie Sanders. Okay, we have a couple of bills that the House, a place that you're very familiar with, will hopefully be passing very, very soon, and they revolve around immigration, and there's Kate's Law, and there's also No Sanctuary for Criminals Act. Both of them, I have to say, have been watered down, unfortunately. Nonetheless, the White House is behind it. They want to get the ball rolling on this. And yesterday, once again, we saw Donald Trump sitting next to, reaching out to the families of people who have lost loved ones to criminal acts committed by illegals?
Well, I got to tell you, as I travel around the country, and I'm sure Donald Trump is picking up on this, nothing outrages the American people more than what happened to Kate Steinle and this whole sanctuary city. Here in Texas, the legislature addressed that, and it just drove the left crazy. But people are starting to understand how dangerous it is, these sanctuary cities are. And people are starting to hear, particularly out of the local media, what criminal illegals are doing and killing and raping and pillaging people. President Trump said that on the first day he announced for office, and he's starting to keep those promises. I think the American people are going to really like what he's going to do in immigration.
Tell me what you think. Let's start with the executive order, the travel ban, and the fact that the Supreme Court really voted 9-0 to let the president start some of those parameters that are in the bill and put the rest of it on hold till October. It was unanimous. And here's the key, and weigh in on this if you so desire, sir. They didn't cite what he said in the campaign or what Rudy Giuliani said on TV or what was in his head or what he really meant. They went according, at least so far, to the law, unlike the other courts, the lower courts and even the appeals courts that all cited what Donald Trump said and wrote and Giuliani said and wrote.
Well, you know me, Steve. I think we have an out-of-control judiciary, and I was hoping that President Trump would stand up to them and on this whole idea that the judiciary can get involved and overturn a law of national security, that the president has the power to do what he was suggesting to do, and the courts have no jurisdiction in that regard. Trump should have taken on the courts. He tried to at the beginning, and then I guess his lawyers started backing him off. But the point is, no matter what the Supreme Court rules on this issue, he ought to ignore it. People need to reread Article 3 of the Constitution. The opinions by the courts are only opinions. The rulings by the court are only opinions if they're not enforced by the executive branch or the legislative branch. And when they do a lawless opinion, as the lower courts have, the executive branch can ignore it. And people need to realize that.
Yeah, you certainly have been consistent in your opinion on that issue, certainly. And Gorsuch, just very quickly before I let you go, I think those of us who applauded the pick are certainly not going to be disappointed if the early decisions and what he has written so far and where he has stood so far on these few cases is any indication.
Boy, I got to tell you, I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to when we challenge Roe v. Wade and Obergefell and all these lawless decisions that the Supreme Court has made in the past. Particularly, I hope we get another Gorsuch when Kennedy resigns, whenever that may be in the near future.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Let's hope him and Ruth Bader Ginsburg decide to call that. I'll throw them the party. How's that? Congressman, great to talk to you, sir. We'll speak soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, and folks, I want you to stay connected as possible. So, newsmaxtv.com, and of course the website also, newsmax.com.